that there are blessings of God, that you have much more, that there are no blessings of God.
But people need to see, know, and hear.
When you return that money, you hear the message.
Whatever is not yours, even if you kill yourself, it will not come. But that's my opinion.
So do share the facts on Hard Fact.
Hard fact.
Hard Fact with Kimberly, 3 to 6 p.m. Live on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Nothing breaks the news like the news. Trust me, I can prove it. I do it every morning on Morning Crossfire from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Nigeria Info 95.1, and I'm Femi D. Amede. Join the biggest conversation around the national politics every day in a way that is trustworthy, full of passion, and yes, covers the biggest politics and the stories that matter to you. See, you have all the reasons to find out what's going on in Nigeria and be engaged differently. Let's talk. That's the way to go, even this morning.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Atiku. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
This, I saw like a poll earlier today about a question where women were asked what kind of men would they like to be with, and they had the immigration, they had the police, and a lot of women rather, picked the immigration. I'm not sure why, but that was like the highest number.
By any chance, was there like the Navy side by side?
The Navy, the immigration, the police.
Immigration over the Navy. Going by uniform, I would go with the Navy any day. But yeah, immigration, cool.
Yeah, and of course, this runs up until January 30. I feel like it's a short period. It's just 2 weeks, 16th.
Yeah, but don't worry, millions will apply.
A lot of people. Now, there are people who are complaining as well regarding applying for this particular job opening, stating that it's not taking them to the next step. So it's possible that due to the large influx of applications, the website is having a bit of an issue, but I'm hoping that they are able to handle it in good time. But we'll see how things play out. And of course, there are those who believe that applying for these jobs just means they are wasting their time, but you never know until you try. Do it first, and hopefully the way opens for you.
Okay, well, those who think you have to know someone needs to sign a form or a letter to cover for you. Well, like he says, just have some faith, have some bit of faith, and then apply. You never know. All right, people. And yes, the INEC chairman will be at Chatham House today. Yesterday was a lot of talk from the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, INEC, who addressed the House today. And all this talk about Chatham House rule, we get to see and hear everything they say. Perhaps maybe some of the things they have behind closed doors, we don't know. But it's a good thing that we're getting feelers from conversations they're holding over there. And it'd be great also to, get the feelers and the update of what INEC will be sharing with the world at the Chatham House today. Welcome to Hard Facts, and we'll be looking at quite a number of stories driving conversation in Nigeria today, and we'll bring you update of what's happening in the campaign scene. We'll also get to find out from you what are the structures that have impoverished Nigerians. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party is saying, if you bring me into office, I am going to dismantle the structures that have impoverished the country.
Handle the big boys.
Yeah, and it got a lot of people think, what really are the structures? We've really thought about them before. Is he just saying something very grand and very fancy, or there are real tangible structures that we need to get at? Dismantling at the moment.
The word structure has been used a lot this election season, and everybody has different definitions or different understandings as to what the structure is. Now, he has been, Peter Obi in this regard has been told that he doesn't have the structure to handle Nigeria if he wins eventually. And right now, he's saying that he's going to handle the structure that is stopping Nigeria from moving from where it is right now to where we all want it to be. But we'll see how things play out. Structure is the word, and it'd be great to know if that is something that is needed or not moving forward.
All right, we don't have a guest joining us. Itodo and I will help you present the stories, driving conversation. Not all of them. We'll pick 3 of them. We'll get your perspective on the story from now to 4:30, and then shift gear from that to order conversation also. I'm the Oracle, the digital Oracle. Call me Kim, call me the fellow, call me OTF, call me Madam Speaker. I'll say yes to them all. But then I go by Kim.
And you can call me Itodo. That works.
All right.
Yes.
So we're going to be a tag team from now till 7 p.m. And let's get started with the round table.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Nwachukwu. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria Info.
YouTube at Nigeria Info ABJ. Can also check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja. Instagram handle is Nigeria Info FM Abuja, and we're on Twitter at Nigeria Info ABJ. Let's get started with the first story.
Going straight to the first story for today, alleged graft, treason. Tinubu, Atiku seek each other's arrest, disqualification. Now, the intrigues trailing the race for the presidency assumed a dangerous twist yesterday as presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, and his People's Democratic Party, PDP counterpart, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, called for the arrest and disqualification of each other over allegations of graft. Now, Tinubu threw the first punch when he asked security agencies in the country to invite, arrest, interrogate, and prosecute Alhaji Atiku Abubakar over what he described as hashtag Atikugate. Now, citing a video clip made by one Michael Achimugu, said to be a former aide of the PDP standard bearer at Tinubu, said Atiku as vice president between 1999 and 2007 colluded with his then boss, President Olusegun Obasanjo, to operate an illegal account tagged Special Purpose Vehicles, SPVs. Now, he accused the PDP-led administration between 1999 and 2007 of running a criminal enterprise, describing the era as the SPV years. Now, responding in kind, Atiku and the PDP described Tinubu as a convict who should not be in the race, adding that Tinubu's alleged $460,000 drug money forfeiture was evidence of a crime. So there's been a bit of a back and forth between both parties as to, wanting to get jobs and wanting to score points, and of course wanting disqualification of the presidential candidates. And it's a bit of a worry for a lot of people right now. It's about 38 days to the elections, and of course everyone is trying to do the best that they can in terms of getting more people on their side, getting more people to support them. So all of these things are to be expected. Now, in accusing a candidate or anybody at all of anything, it's important that you provide evidence. Now, we've seen over time, while the ex-convict issue with Tinubu's camp, wherein a journalist went to the school, the Chicago University, which he was said to have attended. And the school at the time stated they had no record of him. But then we've seen records come out and people are saying these records are forged. So there's so much back and forth we've had to handle over time, but it's up to the electorate to decide what they want to believe. And of course, if this issue or this case goes to court, how will the judiciary handle it?
Now, the question is, will they get to court?
Would they get
That's the big question. Because there's one thing with the mudslinging and trying to tear each other down and stuff like that, and it's another thing to actually take this case to court.
Yeah.
Because even if you look at the case of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when there were a lot of allegations around his qualification, his age, and whatnot, not a lot of people dared to, interrogate it legally to take in this case to court, because perhaps maybe not enough substance on ground, or some of them have been in circulation for a long time. It's gone to court before, and it's been thrown out based on the fact that there were no substance to back it up at that point, or enough evidence to back it up, or cleared it at one point. But I'm a little curious about this special purpose vehicle, because I'm not sure it made much of the round when Atiku was vying for office in 2019 or 2015. Until now, that is becoming much of a case. It's perhaps something that they've had people digging, going way beyond the surface to try and find any debt they can find whatsoever to use against this candidate. But it's interesting. You naturally expect this during politics. This is the time where whatever skeleton you have in your cupboard would just be, brace yourself. It's going to come out. And I just hope it's not one of those decayed ones, something that people can stand and feel like, all right, there's so much corruption anyway, whose record is even clean in the first instance, so it might just give you like a pass mark at the end of the day. But like you pointed out, it's left for Nigerians to decide. I recall a conversation some time back when someone was talking about it's a good thing that it's a 3-horse race and that we're not limited to just the establishment, the two main parties, the APC and the PDP, because it gives people variety to pick from. 3 and 4 to saying we're not stuck with these two. So if you think there are 6 and half a dozen, you have an alternative to pick from. And it became a conversation of the lesser evil, in which I know quite a number of people are uncomfortable with, to saying you can't just reduce it to
just 3.
Rock and a hard place. No, between the APC and the PDP.
Right, okay.
So people have variety to pick from, to saying there are 4 major parties, and if you think there's too much debt on this individual, deflect. But these parties and these individuals are too powerful, too significant in this election for people to just turn a blind eye and say, okay, we don't care. We're going to look elsewhere. So whatever it is they unearth about each other, it's definitely going to get a lot of Nigerians talking.
Now, even Obi, who is the third person in this race, is also being called out, and there have been, cries for him to be disqualified as well due to his dual citizenship. So everybody seems to be getting a bit of the fire right now, the jab left, right, center, and it's up to them to be able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that, there's nothing up their sleeve and they have good intentions for Nigeria, which is something that we all want for ourselves. We want a situation wherein whoever would decide to vote, or whoever you decide to vote, you can call on them, you can hold on to them and ensure that they are keeping to their word. Because it's one thing to make promises. I mean, we've had too many promises. So right now, I'm guessing that for a lot of people, it means nothing. The action is what we are looking forward to. And who do you feel can handle the issues that Nigeria is currently struggling with right
beyond
now?
The issues, what do you also make of this mudslinging that is going on now? The allegations going back and forth, and it feels like both parties are tearing each other's hair out, to saying, oh, disqualify this person. This person is more of a criminal than I am. This person has got dirt in his records and all of that. So it's interesting also to get the perspective of Nigerians on what they make on this interesting catfight between the APC and Camp PDP. Moving on to the next story. Remember, we don't have a guest, so we're going to open the phone lines early and get you talking. The second story, we have a new report released by Oxfam, an international confederation against poverty, says 3 richest men in Nigeria have more wealth than it is 3 million people in the country. Now, Oxfam released the Global Inequality Report at the start of the annual World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, Switzerland on Monday. In the document titled Survival of the Richest, the international non-governmental organization said the wealth of Nigerian billionaires have grown by a third since the start of COVID, without a corresponding increase in health budget. It also said the richest 0.003% of Nigerians, which is about 6,355 individuals worth $5 million and above, have 1.4 times more wealth than 107 million of the country's citizens. And Oxfam said a wealth tax of 2% on the millionaires, 3% on those with wealth above $50 million, and 5% on Nigerian billionaires would help raise about $3.2 billion annually. That is if we decide to go with a 2% increase on the tax on those billionaires. Now, according to the organization, the revenue gain from the wealth tax will be enough to double health spending, as Nigeria has one of the lowest health budgets in the world. And commenting on the report, Vincent Ahosi, country director of Oxfam International, said super rich Nigerians are not paying their taxes. So this is a case of evading tax. And I recall following a report done by Action Aid International some years back, also on tax evasion, where they're looking at quite a number of big multinational organizations that have this very fancy, tax havens where they find a way to just divert funds and not pay taxes to the countries where they're doing their business. And we've seen a lot of papers, Panama paper, and what papers put out about tax evaders and whatnot. Aside from these special privileges that some of these multinationals and companies and individuals enjoy, the waivers they get for pioneer status and the likes of that, starting off a business, the process in Nigeria is still it's muddy, because I remember some time back also, they were talking about, is it about more people paying taxes or expanding the tax bracket, or getting to get those who are evading taxes, who are perhaps even captured before, pay their taxes, the big ones. So I think that's also been a very tricky one in terms of other reforms that we've come up with in Nigeria. They still have these big guys not paying what they should.
Now,
at the end of the day,
we all know the importance of taxation. I mean, over time, over the past few years, we've seen how taxation has increased, and a lot of people are, struggling with paying their taxes, those who are not earning enough. Now, there have been calls as well as cries to increase the taxes for the rich people in court right now, and to ensure that they are paying more, or they should pay something at least, and pay even more if they are heeding to that. But based off this report right now, we get to understand that they are not paying.
Some of them are evading.
Some of them are evading.
Or not paying what they should.
Maybe they're hiding their income and not letting us know what exactly they're earning. Now, what is the punishment for those who are evading taxation in Nigeria? Or is it just against the poor people, wherein for those who skip or fail to pay at a certain point in time, they are punished or held back, or whatever services that they render is stopped? How exactly can they be held accountable and made to pay these taxes, which will in turn raise funding for the government, which is something that we are looking forward to right now. We're looking for different ways to raise funding as opposed to constantly borrowing. Now, I'm not saying that borrowing is wrong based on the reports, but being able to see what these funds being borrowed are used for, something that you can hold on to, something that you can ensure that, this is the advantage of the funds that have been collected over time. I'm hoping that this report is not just swept under the carpet, by those in charge, but they ensure that they use this report to go after, if possible, those who have been evading taxes. And this is a gentle reminder. You've got some time, before they start going after those who are evading, if they do that at all, to pay a tax.
We've had all kinds of reform. I remember the vice president as head of the economic team back then coming up with policies coming up. There was even an amnesty window that was open at some point and telling people, if you've not been up to date with your taxes and you have over years not even paid your taxes and filed in your papers, this is a perfect opportunity to do that. A lot of people complied, but I want to believe there are also a whole lot more who would feel, no be Niger, we can always wriggle our way out and find our way out of this. But then if you're seeing that 83 million people, let's go on a quick break.
All our country people, they talk with one voice.
Gap has widened in the country, the gap between the extremely rich and the poor, people who are living below $1 or $2 in the country. And we know that the middle class has thinned out so much. Either some filtered, maybe still there, and others, unfortunately, are down into the poverty bracket. And they're saying that 3 richest men in Nigeria have more wealth than 83 million citizens. Now, it's not major. What's the height of mathematics in trying to conclude on who these 3 richest people are in the country?
Guess, right?
Yeah. It's easy to guess. We know
we might be wrong
who they are. Now we're not saying these individuals because they are wealthy, they are officially the bad guys. They just have been blessed enough to be that. But it'd be nice that everybody pay their taxes at the end of the day and see how they can support. Now I'm going to look at one of the richest men in Africa, who, by the way, is Nigerian, and I'm sure it's going to be number 1, Atiku Dangote. You also look at what he's done in recent times, the kind of support. I know he worked in partnership with Bill Gates to see how they can help with infrastructural development, not infrastructure, nutrition, health and nutrition for children. Yeah. There's a lot of philanthropic donation in partnership with Gates Foundation in that regard. And I recall the last time Bill Gates was in the country, I attended a conference they had, and Dangote was there. And they were saying, maybe it's time to start to tax some of these big companies and see if we could get maybe like 1% on their profit to channel it towards supporting, health and education and the likes. But I don't think they committed enough to it to see it translate into something tangible at the end of the day. So perhaps this is a reminder to do something about that.
Once we're able to improve on education and healthcare, every other thing falls in place. Now, those are the major...
Not magically. However, it's set the stage.
Yeah, eventually things fall in place. And looking at the budget, I mean, the amounts being budgeted for this sectors are not good enough. If you combine both for this year, it gives you what we are paying for fuel subsidy from now up until June. Yes, so I mean it's cause for concern. And looking at what the manifestos of the candidates right now, what are their plans for healthcare and education? Are they able to put these things in place and ensure that Nigerians are able to get these things easily, wherein you can walk into a hospital and you don't have to spend all of your life savings to be able to get the healthcare that you need at that point in time? Speaking about education, ASU right now, they are threatening to take the federal government to court. I mean, we've all, witnessed what ASU has had to go through over the years. We've had strike actions, way too many strike actions, and it's tiring. We see that the doctors also threatening to go on strike. So
resident doctors, yeah.
Yes, everything just happens, and I feel like Nigerians have gotten enough wherein they're not surprised anymore when the strike actions are threatened, because they're like, what's the worst that could happen? You'll be off for a while, and then you reach an agreement, in quote, and then you come back. After a while, you go again. So I feel like it's important that whoever takes the reins come May 2023, they're able to handle these things and commit to it. Not just speak and leave it hanging, but ensure that they are doing the work and doing it right.
Well, I don't envy them because there's no magic one to fixing it overnight. So the big question is even 4 years enough to undo some of the low that we've achieved also over time. And Bill Gates talking about supporting the poor. I know when we're talking globally, Bill Gates is one of the top 3. I don't know where he sits in the global picture. I know Elon is down to number 2, and then this man behind Louis Vuitton brand is number 1. But Bill Gates is known to be very generous, and he's been supporting a lot of initiative towards fighting poverty, disease, and inequality. And he's saying he's going to commit $8.3 billion to continue that fight. And this was also part of what was presented recently, to saying how they will use their resources to dealing with these issues around sustainable development. All right, just thought to throw that one in, seeing that we're talking about poverty. Remember, the figure we gave you is poverty in Nigeria, and the 3 richest men in the country have more wealth than 83 million people. Not surprised. Minimum wage is 30, so yeah, it makes sense. Let's go on to the third story before we open up the phone lines.
We have Emiefele, DSS running battle paused as CBN governor resumes. Now, the battle between the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emiefele, and the Department of State Services over a plan to arrest the CBN governor may have been put on hold as Emiefele resumes duty. Now, the CBN governor on Monday resumed office at the CBN headquarters after spending several weeks in the United Kingdom and the US, following reported plots by the DSS to arrest him. Now, in a statement by the CBN Director of Corporate Communications, Mr. Osita Wanisobi, the Apex Bank said the governor had resumed to work amid concerns over his absence since last month. Now, the statement, the bank rather further urged Nigerians to continue to support the policies of the bank aimed at ensuring a stable financial system and the Nigerian economy in general. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services has denied invading the CBN head office in Abuja. So, okay. Now, speaking about bank policies, we know that the old notes cease to become legal tender 31st of this month. But right now, I'm still seeing a lot of the old notes, a lot of them. Do we have enough time? A lot of people are not caught up in that.
Dude, the guy just resumed from his annual leave. And if he doesn't get arrested before the 31st, I'm confident that they would dole out more of this currency. I think the pressure on him right now has even gone beyond others. The deputy governor and the likes of them can attend to all of this one. The biggest on his head at the moment is a bit more political as to the attempt to having Emiefele arrested. I know that it feels like calm and quiet at the moment, but then people are saying, Emiefele, you have tons of questions to answer. The questions we're asking before you went on your annual break or leave, the questions are still there, unattended to, and the deputy governor of the CBN is not going to attend to them because they seem to be personalized. So is Emiefele going to furnish the country with some bit of response? Is it perhaps going to grant the DSS an audience to say, what exactly is this about financing terrorism? Is it going to respond to the allegation of the money starts somewhere over stamp duty? Are we going to get answers over that? Because when it comes to the CBN and Emiefele, we're looking at one. Yes, political issues as to the allegations against
funding terrorism,
funding terrorism, the stamp duty, and then two, the monetary policies and the policies is put on ground concerning the redesigned naira. So there are layers to what the Emiefele has to attend to at the moment. For one, I don't think this will go away anytime soon.
Well, in December, the Secret Service Agency approached an Abuja court to arrest Emiefele over allegations bordering on financing terrorism and money laundering, among other things. Now, we've seen, the cries and the calls for him to extend, the date or the policy when the policy takes effect, wherein Nigerians are able to still withdraw certain amounts of money over the counter. They're still able to use the old naira notes, and in time, running to or going to the new naira notes and not be surprised by it. But he's held forth and said, no, the policy still stays. But then again, it's possible that anything can happen. Right, he's back in the country. He's well rested, so he's ready to kick in and give his 100 in the job. So we'll see how things play out. This week would be really interesting. I'm hoping that he gives a bit of a feedback or response
to the question.
Yes, to
or perhaps maybe surprise the country with a resignation. You never can tell. You never can tell. Let's see how it pans out. It's interesting. The plot thickens. Emiefele returns to the country. What next?
The Gen Z used to say Mephi. That's what they call him on Twitter. So we'll see how he's able to handle all of this moving forward.
All right. We don't have guests with us in the studio, so let's get started talking with you. Share your thoughts on the stories with us. What do you make of the mudslinging between the APC and the PDP? Camp APC, PDP, and calling for each other's disqualification over fraud, allegations, and all whatnot. And we also did talk about the poverty status in the country, saying that 3 top wealthy people are richer than 83 million. Boy, oh boy, to be in a class of that nature. Boy, 3 wealthier than 83 million. But then it's easy to see why. Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, so it's not rocket science to compute and arrive at how disproportionate things are in the country. And then we're asking, Now that Emiefele is back in the country, would he be giving Nigerians answers? Would he respond perhaps to the invite by the DSS, if there's any at all? Or would there be a surprise resignation?
Let us know right now, 0700 951 0000. You can also call the WhatsApp line or send a message to 080 99930137. Don't forget, we're live right now on Facebook and YouTube, so simply follow us and share your comments and thoughts on Nigeria Info Abuja on these platforms. And you can tag us on Twitter at Nigeria Info ABJ.
All right, then, let's get started. Hello?
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
We can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Kerry.
Go ahead, Kerry.
Yeah, I want to comment on the issue of Tinubu and Atiku throwing at each other.
Go ahead.
You see, this political games is becoming so interesting. You know, with the two big wigs coming at each other, they've known their secrets for a very long time. But we Nigerians, we are watching them. Let's see how it pans out. For Peter Obi, we will also wait and see what the Constitution says about dual citizenship. I don't know if there is any provision like that in the Constitution, whether the Constitution stops a candidate from contesting because he's having a dual citizenship. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, the Constitution provides that you have to be a Nigerian by birth to run for the office of president. If this contentious issue of dual citizen comes up, it's also something to address in the future in the Constitution.
Yes.
Because it doesn't invalidate. But the legal minds will defend that.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, and this is Holadi in the party game calling from Lube.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just react to the allegations and counter-allegations, between APC and PDP. For people who have been following Nigerian politics in the last, let's say 23 years or so, I don't think they're going to be amused or perhaps surprised by what is happening. When elections of these nations are coming up, you're bound to see, people throwing them tantrums as they show there. But what that actually surprises me is the fact that, look, Professor Kiyamo at different forums, at many forums, has always been telling Nigerians that, look, Atiku is not a threat to APC. APC will beat Atiku, they will beat PDP hands down. So why is he asking for Atiku to be disqualified? If you know that somebody is, for instance, somebody like me, if I know that somebody is not a threat to me, I will neglect that person, completely. You understand? So if the PDP is not a threat to you in the election, why are you thinking about all this? Now, so for somebody that left office over 16 years ago, Buhari contested against Atiku in 2019, and nobody brought up things like this. Simply because they felt that, look, this man, no matter how you look at it, and this is the fact. Let nobody beat about the bush on this.
All right.
Let's not behave like an adultery. This election is actually between APC and PDP. So why are they bringing up this?
All right.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Hello. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Can you switch off your radio, please?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome, Katie.
Itodo. Good afternoon. My name is Haruna. That is the name my father gave me. I'm calling from Gwagwalada.
All right, Haruna. Go ahead.
How is everything?
Good, fine and
I
well.
want to talk about...
Hello.
I want to talk about the issue of this certificate or no certificate, where you go to school or you don't go to school. If they are trying to... Let them come outside and talk now. It's a simple thing. See where I go to, see where I do this. See, I don't know why some people will be dangling. If somebody accuses you, come out and openly and say, no, this is what I do, this is what I do. Carry evidence, follow them. Everybody should continue for where you are going. All those accusing, and now you go come to start. That time why I make man, they know are they doing their proper investigation before they can allow another, they allow person to come out as a contestant. I don't even understand. This thing is not supposed to come now where election they remain next tomorrow.
No, remain next tomorrow. It's still 39 days away, so there's plenty of time for a lot of calisthenics and gymnastics to happen politically. Hello, good afternoon. Connection is poor between us. Please call back.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Itodo and my sister Kim. Good afternoon.
Go ahead, my brother. How are you doing?
I want to react on the issue of Emiefele. I think DSS should come out clean and not beating about the bush. They have gone to the courts and requested that court grant them the power to go and arrest Emiefele. Then the court said, if you have clean evidence against him, you don't need a court order to go and arrest him. So if they actually knew that if they actually have a very good evidence that they can come to court to defend, let them go and arrest him and take him to court and not making Nigeria to be like a banana republic. I mean, the man has been out of the country. They say he ran away. Now he just resumed his duty and DSS is still making him out. He should go and arrest him if they have any good evidence. Emiefele does not have anything to answer. He doesn't have to answer anybody anything or tell Nigerians, answer Nigerians any question. If DSS there is any accusation against him, they should go and arrest him, take him to court. So they shouldn't just be making Nigeria to look as if we are all daft. We don't know what is going on. They just want to take him out so that politicians can go ahead and to do those by doing election. And for this Naira note that is still going, I still believe that the essence of holding Naira, making Naira note, not taking the old one and making the new one start, is for people to do e-transactions, POS, and everything that any transaction that can be traceable. That's the way.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Your thoughts on this is appreciated.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Itodo.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, my brother. Digital Rako, I greet you. This is Lami calling from Central at the moment.
Go ahead.
Thank you. On the three wealthy Nigeria, the story, Kim and Itodo, it is unfortunate, when presidential candidate speaks, a lot of us we've already conditioned our mind to believe that one, as because he always speaks as a press club presidential candidate going for a presidential debate, always, giving rehearsed speeches is the best. And then when another one speaks and then made a slip of tongue, like Bulaba, they focus on it. I remember vividly, a presidential candidate said it categorically that if he becomes the president, he's going to tax wealthy Nigerians to pay more tax. And that candidate is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nobody is talking about it because it didn't come from another candidate, the warehouse and Onitsha market economists that usually dish out those statistics. That is what we want.
Alamin,
yes?
You're not allowed to do that. We're not going to go down that road on the show this afternoon with that, because the minute you start on this, others will calling, and before you know, all over the place. No, you're not allowed to do that. So go ahead.
All right, thank you. On the disqualification and dual citizenship, Nigerian Constitution is very clear. Chapter 3, subsection 30, section 38, 1999 Constitution has amended. If truly any of the presidential candidates have dual citizenship, I think we should all add our voices, because we do not want to have a foreign agent and someone whose allegiance would be splitted into two, and add our voices regardless of which party and the presidential candidate, for such a candidate to be disqualified, because they're already, against the national interest of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's hear more thoughts, and we're live on YouTube, guys. Go follow us on YouTube and leave your comments there also.
Good afternoon.
Kim, you pay for that 7 seconds.
Sorry about that.
Good afternoon, Kim and Itodo.
Good afternoon to you.
Kim, my name is Umar.
Welcome to the show.
My take is still about surrounding the CBN governor. Kim, I suppose the man should be talking to us by today. He should tell Nigeria what is happening to the new currency that he pretends before he traveled out of the country. Enough is few minutes ago, ATM has stolen that old money. We have 2 days to go. Today is 70, I suppose, 70 or 80 or so, I can't remember exactly. We said this money will not be legal tender by the end of this month. So what is happening? I saw the man telling us, what are we going to do? How do this thing work? Because it's not working, obviously. If you go over the counter in the bank, you are still paying the same motivated water loan. Very dirty money. Somebody is telling us, what is CBN in my mind? I don't know. Then again, on the same CBN, you see, Kim, if you accuse me today of terrorism, as the case may be, the next thing I will do to run out of Gamakuna help me. I am not a terrorist. I am not supposed to be a terrorist. I want to clean my name, clean my slate. Today, as we speak, the CBI governor is surrounded, it is between the power that be. He's surrounded around the section of the power that be. If he leaves office tomorrow, he will not claim his name, he goes suffer around. He better claim his name today. If not, I think there's more to explain. So why are you to the court? Why are you arguing about? Come on, clean. That's what we mean.
All right. So you definitely want answers. This is not going to be one of the situations where he just comes in and his business as usual just continues, and we hope that another big story takes center stage and we move past it. Yeah. All right, let's hear you next. We'll take two messages. We'll take two calls and then we'll read some of the comments.
Good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, Itodo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, the Digital Oracle.
Hi, good afternoon.
And good afternoon, Master Umar. My name is Salasi. I want to talk about these people between these two people accusing each other. That is not what we want to hear, we as Nigerians. We want to hear what they will do to the citizens. What is their campaign promises? And they should be promised that they should be held accountable for their promises being made to Nigerians. They should grant interview to the media houses. We are expecting them to come to your radio station and the phone line will be given. We, the citizens, will call them and ask them questions about Nigeria. What are they going to do? What are the solutions to the power outage? What are the solutions to the health section? What are the solutions to our educational background? That is what we want to hear from all these politicians. We don't want to hear them fighting themselves. No, they should sell themselves to Nigeria and tell Nigerians that this is what we are going to do. We are going to do this. If we don't do this, hold us accountable. If we don't do this, hold us accountable. And the record will be there so that Nigerians can come and ask, because they have said us, they said they are going to build refineries, they are going to make a naira to dollar. Now we that we have oil, we have been struggling to fill our tanks. We have the president as the minister of petroleum and we can't ask questions. And we have the minister of state, nothing is working. The promise of the refinery will start working in December. What happened? They have shifted to March. And we are in the month of election. We will have our election in the month of February. So we don't want to hear all those promises. They should come and tell us we have the record and we'll ask them the question. Now go there.
Thank you so much.
Okay, always very animated when he calls. Thank you very much, Selassie. And Bello Emmanuel, good luck on our YouTube page. By the way, we'll be reading tons of comments from YouTube. I'll take YouTube, you take WhatsApp. Let's read some of the messages there. Good afternoon, Kim and Itodo. Good to see you guys. Well done. Concerning Atiku and Tinubu saga, they should just arrest themselves and let the remaining 16 candidates just rest. All right then. It can happen in cartoons and animation, but in real life, they can't just both arrest themselves. What, Tom and Jerry? Yeah. And Vincent Sylvester says, good afternoon, Kim and Itodo. Well done. Asiru Abba says, Nigeria needs a president without corruption and drug charges hanging over their head. Mama Bort Albert says, great work, Nigeria Info family. Johnny says, as far as Nigeria is concerned, there will always be that one thing that would implicate any political candidate is had to find a 100% clean individual despite all of these. He still thinks, okay, for him, Peter Obi is his best choice. Mr. Salassi's contribution, always superb, says, rejoice or John Ugwa. All these comments are read from our YouTube channel. Join us. YouTube is at Nigeria Info ABJ. Go check it out. We're live and we're streaming there.
And sure you click the bell as well to, give you notifications, yes, when we're up. Looking at the WhatsApp right now, this is asking a question. Mazi OK says, has Emiefele acted outside his mandate and extend laws establishing the CBN, his employer, the federal government, have not told Nigerians what offense or offenses he could have committed? Why would such an exalted executive post be a subject of party politics to the detriment of Nigeria? Emiefele can be arrested as a civilian, no doubt, but he would have been clearly investigated before this DSS drama. Okay. All right, skipping your message right there, Leon. This one says, on Tinubu and Atiku, I pray God allows more of these to open our eyes. Because if truly these people have the interest of Nigerians at heart, why are they waiting until now to expose the crimes that have crippled our growth economy as a country? On the CBN governor, with all the voice notes flying around, I don't know what DSS is still waiting for. Moreover, why is he not suing DSS for false accusations? And this one right here says, please say it out factually. Tinubu said he would increase tax. He never said poor people. Not sure where this is coming from, but Francis will see a message right there. And Destiny says, the only story I'm interested in is the one that says 3 rich men are richer than 89 million Nigerians. Chai, Oluwa Ranam for Mina. Sea levels. Okay, thank you so much for your message right there. It's actually 83 million Nigerians, not 89 as you mentioned. Okay, Atiku supporters say Tinubu is not good enough. Tinubu supporters say the same thing. For the first time, they are both correct. OM. And Michael says, is this Michael? All right. Shewon rather says, is it a crime? This is not what we're talking about right now. I think your message came in late, but let's see. All right. So Shewon says, allegations should not be treated with kids' gloves. It's not a child's play for an adult to get a court affidavit to substantiate his allegations. APC should go to court, or PDP should charge APC for defamation of character. All right. Thank you so much, Sharon, for your message right there. Do we have more on?
All right. Let's just go back to the phone line, shall we?
Let's do that.
0809-9930-137. Call us regularly via WhatsApp. That's okay. You can also call 0809-5974-869 or 0700-951-0000. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show.
Itodo. Felix from Lambata.
Go ahead.
Yes, the two presidential candidates of APC and PDP are accusing themselves. Well, they are telling themselves the obvious, that Nigeria knows about them. But the thing is this, if they are this, I don't know why they are still looking up onto them, telling them, come and tell us your campaign, promise, whatever. When actually they are accusing themselves of graft. Some of them have allegations of drug-related offenses hanging on them. The other one, money laundering. And they are now telling the public, the world, that this is who we are. And yes, we are still accommodating these people as presidential candidates. I wonder what kind of country we have. When we talk about joint citizenship, it's very common among the politicians. I'm yet to see one politician that is not having joint citizenship at that level.
All right. Thank you very much. And we're just following the report. I think what group I was trying to get that story out because a lot of people are asking about it, where that came up from.
Is it the group asking for?
Yes, we have the National Rescue Movement dragging the Labour Party presidential candidate court over alleged possession of dual citizenship, and the fresh disqualification suit marked. No need to bore you with that. At the Federal High Court, the plaintiff accused Peter Obi of acquiring fresh. Okay, I'll give you the detail of that after this quick break. Stick around, please.
It's a new dawn for